Hey everyone, this is Emanuel here, your certified body code practitioner, certified group energy facilitator, and a regression hypnotherapist. So excited to talk with you today about a very, very important subject, especially because I'm a father and we have 4 children, and it's very, very important to know that this means the world to me because at the end of the day, I know, as being a Christian, that when I go to the other side, one of the questions I know I'll be asked is, who was I? Who was I as a person? Who was I as a husband? Who was I as a father? All those questions are something that's in the forefront of my mind and something that I truly, truly care about. Do I make mistakes? Of course I do. But what can we do if you're a mother or you're a father and you literally concerned or you're concerned about your children, whether they're adult children or whether they're younger children, it doesn't matter. And here's the thing is that maybe you've already tried therapists, maybe you've done psychologists, or you've done counseling, or you've done everything, and nothing seems to sort of break the mold of how your family is doing, of changing the social dynamic or the fabric that's been interwoven in your life right now. Okay, so I want to talk to you. I want to get straight to the point because of what I do using the body code. Now, I remember when I was at an event once, and I remember we were learning from Dr. Bradley Nelson, who is the founder of the Emotion Code Body Code, and he said something very clear. He said that we have to respect people's agency. This is very key. I can't work with someone who is 18 or above without their permission. If I'm going to work on their emotional body, it's just not going to happen. I haven't done it. I've always asked for permission. I've always got an email sent to me. I've got a text message sent to me because I respect people's agency. Now, if they're 18 or younger, first of all, and you're a mom, let's say you have a couple of children and maybe 3 of them are under 18, one of them's over. Those 3, if I were you, get back with your practitioner and or you can work with me. Get back with your practitioner and basically say like, hey, I've got children. I know I'm doing sessions on myself, but I would love to do sessions where we work on my child. And then the good thing is that child, this is huge, the child does not need to know that they're being worked on because you're the mother, you know best, and you're in charge of them. So there's something that happens to the psyche of a child when they find out that there's something wrong with them. Now, as we're adults, we realize we're like, this is just baggage. It's how I was raised. I'm not going to become a victim, right? But sometimes in their more younger maturity, it's hard on them to know that it's like, mom thinks there's something wrong with me. Mom thinks I'm not good enough. Mom thinks I'm broken. Mom thinks I need to see somebody because they can't talk to me. I'm an approachable person. You can see all of these thoughts are coming, and they will, if they repeat it long enough, will be a very negative core belief that will haunt them the rest of their life. So again, and then sometimes you might even think, oh, I've been going to a psychologist for 3 years, and the thing is you might say, how come I'm not fixed yet? There's a whole controversy about, do I stay with a psychologist? I've been with a psychologist for 5 years. How come you're not fixed yet? And or I've only been doing it for 1 year. I'm still dealing with stuff. Is this even going to work? Again, so many emotions, so many thoughts are coming out of the journey of someone who takes just the normal route of therapy. But what I love about it is how can we crunch down time so that your children can see some actual results, actual changes in them? Because we all know this. Tell me this isn't true. Comment below if you've seen this before, or maybe you've experienced it. Is that the hardest, most contentious, most ravenous conversation will happen. Let's say you're married and you're going to counseling with your partner. The most destructive atomic relationship that just explodes is in the car drive home post meeting with the therapist. Why is that? The therapist woke up these emotional energies that we talk about, and they're active, they're kind of swarming together, they're in the surface of the body, and you leave 2 people with these swimming energies on their bodies. What do you think is going to happen? You think they're going to go home in peace? No. You've activated their allergies, their idea intolerances. Those things cause either overwhelm, stress, or triggers. And you put them in a small, container called a car and see what happens with them on the ride home. That's probably not the greatest thing. And so we're in the work that I do, in the world that I live in, it's more about extraction. Less talk, more healing. Less talk, more healing. Remove the energies using a magnet with your intention to get the benefits. Okay. So here are a couple of ways. These are, if you want to write these down, again, if you're a very concerned parent, either for your adult child, there's adult children that are thinking about taking their lives right now, and you as a father or mother may not know about it, or maybe thought, oh, that's something he did back when he was 16 or 17, but I haven't talked to him in a while. I'm telling you, it's a very sensitive thing. When you feel like your child is walking a very thin line, we have ways. We have, now it's 2024. We have new ways to help these children. So let me tell you the couple ways here. Number one of the things is, this is assuming the fact that your children, let's say they're over 18, are not interested in any type of energy healing modality, meeting with people. They're closed off. Okay, so now you already have a barrier between you and them in regards to them getting help, even though you're concerned about it. That doesn't matter to them in the end, right? So so this is them not being open. There is still hope. I want to share this with you. The mom who is nervous about their daughter, the mom who is nervous about your son, or the father who's concerned about your kids. There is so much hope if you just open up your mind and say, that makes sense. Or that doesn't make sense now, but maybe it'll make sense in a little bit. Or, hey, maybe I should work with Emanuel, and then maybe we'll see what happens with my kids. Here's the first thing, is inherited emotions. So epigenetics, if you want to Google that, go to epigenetics. It is a known fact, especially in the last 10 years of my experience, that these children, the reason why you're seeing early depression, early anxiety, early personalities, if you will, is not due to programming of the iPad or watching shows, is because they are inheriting the heavier bulk of the great 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 grandfather, great great grandmothers, and this tree has basically poisoned down to the root where they are, or to the fruit, however which way you want to go, and has now affected them in more ways than you'll ever know. The only thing that it takes, very similar to cancer cells, is that it takes something to wake it up. So it's almost like cancer cells, right? They're in your body, they're dormant. As soon as high acidity happens in the body, both my parents were cancer doctors. My mother would tell me all the time, the pH level goes down due to eating maybe, too much meat, too much stress, caffeine. There's different things that are very acidic for the body. All of a sudden, it becomes a new haven for cancer, and it wakes up these cancer cells. They've always been there, but now they're awake. Similar to inherited emotions. They're dormant until let's say there's an inherited fear from the great 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 grandfather. As soon as they feel fear, let's see age 6, boom, it turns over. Now they believe this is their fear, and they feel a little too strongly that emotion, but they don't know why. And that's also another reason why depression and anxiety are rampant. You know why? Because people think, number one, they're alone, that no one else knows what they're experiencing. Your kids may feel alone. They go, my dad would never understand. My mom would never understand. I've heard it. I've heard kids say that to me in person as a practitioner. I've heard them say that. Number two is they don't know why it's so strong. Like, why is it so intense? It makes no sense. Even they try to look in their young little childhood time here on earth, it makes no sense why this fear is so strong unless you know about inherited emotions. So you, as the adult, can do a session with a practitioner, an emotion code and body code practitioner, and say, are there any inherited emotions that are affecting this child? I'll say it again. Are there any inherited emotions affecting this child? Okay, that's number one. And then you release it from the adult, and it indirectly heals the child. So this is a loophole, and the child doesn't even know. So that's why sometimes when I work with a mom, this mom comes to mind, and she says, why is my son different now? He has like high self-esteem. He's doing better in school. I'm like, well, we've only worked 3 times together, but there's been over 5 to 6 inherited emotions that whatever subject we were working on you has now affected your son 6 times, or at least 5 times. Sometimes it doesn't go to them, but most of the times it does. And now this child is reaping the rewards of the mom healing. Okay. But here's the thing. Peggy O'Mara had this really cool quote. The way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice. The way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice. So there's also, again, when we get deeper into their work, let's say once they're open, you want to remove these, what they call post-hypnotic suggestions. These are things that you might have said to your child over and over and over again, like a broken record, and now they believe it like a little too much, right? So that's one thing. There's also so inherited emotions. If you want to write that down, that's a key on how to heal your children without interfering with their free agency. It helps them out. It's an indirect thing, right? Number two is shared emotions. Shared. So if I feel frustration and my son feels frustration towards me, or we felt it towards something, like maybe like we were dealing with something that was unfair, and he's frustrated, I'm frustrated, we're both frustrated. Now I can ask, are there any shared emotions that are connected to this son or this daughter? Now, who am I only working with? You. See, this is very key, guys. The whole time, I'm not working with your child directly. I'm working with them indirectly, but I'm using you as the culprit, as the main person, right? So shared emotions. How many? You can have a ton. You'll be surprised how many shared emotions you have with your child. Okay. The third one, offensive energies. Who am I working with? Still the parent. Am I working with the child? No, I'm not. Indirectly, I am. There are certain things inside your body that offend your child. For example, let's say your child is very stubborn, right? You have to be stubborn back with them. Okay, so you take a photo of him that says that, here's my son, Matt, let's just say, let's say that's his name. And then it says stubbornness, right? And either it's a couple things. The photo could be saying that they're stubborn or you had to be stubborn back. Whatever it is, guess what he can read? As soon as he gets 10 to 12 feet from you, he's already reading your files. And he's telling you, his subconscious is going like, I don't know why, but why do you have a photo of me being stubborn? This is exactly what the subconscious is saying. So, okay, fine. This is where you don't want the subconscious to go, is it says, okay, fine. I'll be stubborn towards you like you always see me. And they keep trying to fit the photo, you see? So there's other things you could do. You could have a broadcast message. This is from your child that as a parent, maybe you tell your parents bothered you a lot. So you're like, go away, go away, go away. Guess what shirt you're wearing? Go away. Now the child, for some reason, never feels invited around you, doesn't feel comfortable around you. Why is that? Because their subconscious is reading their file of why are you wearing a shirt that says go away. It has nothing to do with them, but everything to do with them too. Okay, so you want to get rid of offensive energies. That you can ask your practitioner, do I have any offensive energies found in the body code that are creating my child to act a certain way towards me? Guarantee you'll find some. Fourth way is you want to write down on a piece of paper. This is using the law of attraction, okay, which is a real principle, a real law, is you attract what you are, right? You want to write down how you see your son in your most ideal light, okay? I read a book called The Best, or no, not The Best. It's like something 2,000 years or 1,000 years. It's by Cleon Skousen, okay? One of the things he talks about is there's some people who are appointed kings in the Old Testament, but they weren't righteous the whole time. Solomon, for example, great for the first few years, kind of fell off a little bit at the end, right? Dealing with certain women who didn't follow his same faith. Okay. There's just certain kings that he chooses, and the author says, why do you, if God has past, present, and future in front of him, why does he choose these kings that he knows that temporarily they'll be great, but then they'll fall? Why would he choose them? Wouldn't you choose someone who stays the whole track? And the author comes to his conclusion that God always sees the best version of us. I'll say it again. God always sees the potential and the best version of you all the time. That's a different way to see somebody, but we don't do that. See, as parents, we look at our kids, we see the worst of them because that's the thing that bothers you the most, or the worst in them because look how much I've affected them and I'm a terrible mom. Look what I've done to them, So we see the worst. It's almost like 90% they have clean face. You have to keep staring at the 10% acne. You just have to do it, right? It's the same thing. You have to start writing, retrain your conscious brain. Every time you wake up in the morning, have something that says, how do you really see your child in his or her ideal form? It may not be that easy, but I challenge you to do it. Go ahead and write it down, and then every morning see it, read it, and be like, okay, my son's happy, he's witty, He's very smart. He's very empathic. My son is this. My son is this. And then you close your eyes and you visualize what a son looks like, when like your son, and in that form every single day. When's the best time to do it? In the morning time when you wake up. Why? You're still in theta state. What's another best time you can do it? Right before you go to bed, when you're also in theta state. The best way to say is that your subconscious is open like a lotus. It's ready to receive information. And here's the last tip for you. There's a thing that Johann Wolfgang van Goethe said. He said, belief about the way you see people is the way you treat them. And the way you treat them is what they become. Okay? So the way you see people is the way you treat them. And the way you treat them is what they become. So here's nothing that's very important is that besides the writing, the whole thing, the third thing I would share is belief about them. Okay? So this is you. Again, if you notice, the whole time I am not working with your child, or your practitioner is not working with your child. What you're doing is you're allowing the parent to be sort of a proxy or indirect healing for the child is what you're doing. And here's another thing is, what's your belief about your son? How about this? You can start thinking a negative one, like my son will never amount to anything. Some of us have said that to someone. Hey, how's your son? Oh, my son, oof, what's going on with him? Oh, he's just lost. Boom, write that down. Write down that statement that you keep telling people. He's just lost. Okay, what else? What else have you said? This is hard. This isn't easy to write this down because you might want to have a tendency to put shame on yourself of what things you've said about your child because you've just been worried about them. And because they've been hopeless for so long, you've made new beliefs. So what's another one? He'll never amount to anything. It's not that you said that to him. Maybe you have. It's just that now you're starting to believe it because it's been so long. Or, oh, he'll never contact me back. Okay? So what do you do as a practitioner to help out the adult who believes that? Is find out the percentage of how much they believe it. Say, how much do you believe in that statement of, I'll never have that relationship with them? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 90, 80, 98. Look, you're at 88%. So now what's the goal? Use the body code system and lower it down to 0%. All of a sudden, now the way you look at them is different because these certain energies are not popping up, which then again could be offensive to them. By the way, these ones that you have in there, you're kind of doing two at the same time now. One of the tips that I mentioned earlier, you could be removing offensive energies because you're changing these beliefs. But you should write down your top 5 to 10 things of things that you've said about them that kind of put that person in a very hopeless state. You put them there. You need to change that because if you can't believe it for yourself for that person, then you won't. And so that's why mentorship is so good. When I used to be in direct sales and work from home, someone used to say, hey, I know you don't believe in yourself, but borrow what does he say? Borrow my belief in you until you believe in yourself. Borrow my belief. And I'm telling you, I used to have mentors who would come to me and say, you know what, you're a platinum, back in business, you're a platinum, you're an executive director. Guess how I saw myself? Like nothing. I didn't see myself like anything. But they tried to breathe belief into me. That's what you're doing. And you might say, oh, I can't do it to my child, whatever. You don't have to do it directly to them. If you feel inspired to, you should. I mean, obviously be a very encouraging parent. They're probably like, oh, Dad, what are you saying to me now? Like, they might get annoyed. The main key is that your subconscious, the thing that creates worlds, is that sees them in a higher level than what they see in themselves. So hopefully this has helped you. Number 1, inherited emotions. Remove those that are connected to a certain child. Number 2, shared emotions. You guys have shared different times where you've expressed certain emotions. As soon as you heal yourself, it heals them. Number 3, offensive energies. Specific offensive energies that affect this son. Offensive energies that affect this daughter. Is it a photo? Is it a broadcast message? Is it a very emotional energy that you felt with them? You remove those, they're going to feel better around you. They're going to want to be around you more. Okay, number 3. Number 4, write how you want to see them and see it every morning, every night, every morning, every night. Just look at it, then visualize. for like 30 seconds. Like, what does that look like, him being this way? Okay, boom, you send it out, right? The last one, number 5, is change your beliefs. The 5 to 10 negative core beliefs that you've said about your child, make sure you believe it at 0%. Okay, so hopefully this helped out. Now, if you're someone who's like, I'm a very busy person, I don't know how I'm going to get to this. This seems amazing, but where do I even start? We are doing a 7-day healing right now. So right now, when you watch this video, we are doing a 7-day healing where you come in as a person and then I work on your children, all of your children at the same time. Now, if you have your husband who's on board and go, yeah, our children need help, trust me, your husband has inherited emotions that he passed down to your children too. Some of you guys would be like, these are all, women kind of make fun of this. They go, that's all husband stuff. That's all your family. That's, well, then the husband should be included too. And we have a discount for him, or your partner, whoever it is, has a discounted rate if they come in. But then watch what happens when both of you guys come in, and then I'm releasing stuff that's inherited, shared, offensive. Watch your children change. I've seen it before. I continue to see it. It's just emotional energies that need to be removed. So if you do want to be a part of the 7-day healing, it's not too late. Even if it's Tuesday, even if it's Wednesday, even if it's Thursday, it has a retroactive effect. So it'll catch up with you. So don't worry if you're like, oh man, it's Friday, I missed it. Comment below, heal the children, or heal my posterity, or heal my children. Just comment that below this video that you see on heal, and I will send you an invite, and I will see you in that group, and we'll do a healing. Or if you like to do private sessions with me, you can always look at my email below or my contact information if you're watching this on YouTube, or just reach out to me and heal if you see me there. But hopefully this gives you kind of a lot of hope for your kids. Okay, the kids are our future, and if there's new tools, we should use whatever we can to help them. And I pray that your family be blessed. Why? Because you and your children are a sacred unit, and dark stuff wants to attack it, but we have tools. And guess what? God's bigger than darkness. So with that, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you gained some insight from this. And look, and if you haven't joined Heal yet, that's where I do these 7-day healings. Go to haveempathyandlove.com. Again, haveempathyandlove.com. Join that. That's where I announce these 7-day healings. Again, but if you want me to work on your children for the next 7 days, comment below. Heal my posterity, and I will send you an invite. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.